Well, welcome to the 12 o'clock draw. This is draw 9 of the U5 2025 U5 Superhero Bonspiel. Coming live from the Coyotes Curling Club in sunny downtown Tempe, Arizona. Should be a good matchup today. On our feature sheet, we've got Call Yourself a Curler against the Hall of Just Ice. Should be a good good game for sure. This is Daryl Horseman on the mic. Yeah, Call Yourself a Curler is coming into this match at 2-0, and the Hall of Just Ice is 1-1. So it should be a good match no matter what. On the Collier team, it's James Collier's skip, led up by Kevin Dicker at vice, Kyle Atkinson at second, Dustin Deutsch at lead, and then the alternate is Ben Krahenbull. Over on the Hall of Just Ice, you've got Ben White, followed up, he's skipping, followed by Rebecca Worthen. Then it's Eric Seitz. Then leading it off is Scott Schmidt. And we are away. Nice center line guard. Had it been 2 feet heavier, just a little bit of a slow start, maybe not used to the this is their first game today, so they might be a little hesitant as far as the what the ice speed is. Looks like Ben's calling an intern. This has a little bit more pepper to it. Yeah, looks like Rebecca's doing a nice clean. Be nice to get that over to the center line, which they do in this this tournament. We are playing the 5 rock rule, so you can't if it's touching the center line, you can't take it out of play until the 5th stone. Yeah, looks like James is calling the outturn come around. Not a bad little delivery there. Yeah, it's a little speedy. It's going to take probably an end or two for everybody to kind of get their wits about them. So, they say in curling, it's not a miss unless the next shot is made. So they can trade blanks here for a little bit, and they're tracking this. Scott's looking like he's using a little bit of the neck English to kind of get that around. Nicely done. Comes around. James is trying to get to the back of the house. Great setup. Center line guard. Obviously, this is a recipe for the steal. Looks like Kyle's up now. Doing the outturn come around. Looks like they're going to try to freeze to this. You're going to have to go hard for line. It looks like it's starting to break early. Not sure it has enough weight. Now it's going to come up just a little shy. Yeah, just a little shy, but that's okay. Got the bump off, so that's a usable rock. You can tap that up if they need be. Oh, there is the 5 rock rule coming into play. So the yellow rock is taken out of play, and the red rock reset as close to the original spot. Yeah, now Ben's like, now what do you do? Let's come around again. I think Ben, the a good miss here, or if Scott comes up a little bit light, that's not the worst thing. Having two staggered guards, or two guards out front and one on the house, is really setting up nice for a steal. Unfortunately, Scott just threw this rock. Talking to this is Eric throwing. Yeah, it's really great to see a lot of these new curlers playing, at the a U5 Bonspiel. Some of these Bonspiels can be a little daunting if you're a new curler. So it's good that USA Curling has kind of created this format. Talking to a friend in Canada last night while doing the stream, they don't have this kind of a program in Canada yet. Kyle just took a little bit of a slip there. And that can be sort of daunting too. You have a group of folks that go through a learn to curl or an intro to curl program, and we're expecting them to just form a team. How do you do that if you're a new curler? And not a bad shot. They are shot rock, not completely hidden. So this is going to allow Ben the opportunity to kind of come down and sink one on the center line, put one on the button. But I think having an event like this, that's sort of it's kind of a safe space for newer curlers to come and play with curlers that have sort of the same level of experience. And for those who aren't familiar, the under 5 program doesn't mean you're 5 years old, obviously, but it does mean that you have 5 years or less of curling experience, and that in that years as is calculated is sort of on the trust system. Depending on when you start and how many games you play in a year, I believe it's 10 games in a year constitutes a year in curling, if you will. So, there's some curlers that their memory gets a little foggy right around game 8 or game 9, so they can preserve a year. But by and large, everybody here has got 5 years or less, and it's really a good developmental way to promote curling at sort of this newer level. Matter of fact, talking to Scott Schmidt from Hall of Just Ice yesterday, he's only been curling for 14 months. And he mentioned that he's got the curling bug something fierce. He's reading all the books and watching all the videos, and being able to play in this event. Because there's some curlers here who are at the last. They've been curling for almost 5 years, and this might be their last event. So having just that mentorship and sort of be able to pave the way to see, okay, here's where I currently am at 14 months. Here's where I could be in 50 months. That's pretty cool to see. So right now, everybody's got a little bit of a hot hand. All of the rocks seem to be at the back 4, which isn't going to be a problem yet. But the first one to get to the button's probably going to steal this end. Again, this one's going to park at the back. We got a little bit of a granite parking lot. And again, now they just sort of stack them like cordwood. Typically, if you don't have the hammer, the Collier team, the yellow team would throw a corner guard, and you would try to come around that. But they immediately made it into a game of doubles. So now it's just a race to the pin. Okay. Oddly enough, that's at the back of the house. So again, they're just going to start stacking like cordwood, and whoever's got the last rock, put it on the pile and take a point by the looks of things. This is Rebecca Worthen, also affectionately known as Alaska. She's recently came from the great state of Alaska down to Arizona. Uh, Talk about extremes, go from minus 40 to you know plus 120 degrees. But she's been a great addition to the curling club and great attitude. And she plays on a social league, a couple social leagues, and has really sort of found her spot here at the club. Well, that's the first one that's come up a little short. Um, it's a good guard, but right now we're not using guards, so that shot, if Rebecca can remember that, that'll come in use, no doubt, probably in the second or third end. All right, here's a big shot from James. He's going to do the out turn, try to get probably, this is 4-2, so it'd be nice if he could stop in the top four. Again, just went a little. James is like, wow, that's a fast shot. Yeah. So again, yeah, Ben just has to load him onto the pile. Nice setup here. Ben's taking a little bit extra time. Make sure he gets us right. Again, we're looking for something to land top of the button. Looks like it's a little wide. We probably would want Rebecca to sweep that a little bit, sir, or Eric to kind of get that over. And then probably that's enough. Don't sweep it too much. Well, there you go. It's almost like playing marbles. Well, we knew this was coming. Ben's got the one shot. He's He has to be just a little careful he doesn't overthrow this, but yellow might get a bit of a steal here, but here we go. This is the last shot for the skipper. Not a bad shot. Looks like it's a little bit closer to line. Looks a little heavy the way Eric's running after it. Rebecca again's trying to carve that over. Probably don't need to do much more than that. It looks a little heavy. Just worried about that. Just worried a little bit though. Yeah, it's a steal of one for Call Yourself a Curler. Yeah, we'll go around the rings here once this all the ends have finished. But now we'll have Yellow Rock throw first, giving Red Rock the Hall of Just Ice. Give them the hammer. So those who are unfamiliar with curling, if you have the hammer, the whole idea is you want to try to score 2 points or zero, and retain the hammer. And if you do not have the hammer, you're trying to make it as difficult for the other team to score two. So if you can hold them to, scoring one, that's great. Or if you can work it like Collier just did and steal one, that's really great. So nice shot here. Nice out turn. Everybody's walking in. We like to see a broom down at this level, though, because there's a lot of stuff a lot of debris that hits the ice during the game. So it'd be nice to do everything you can do to make sure nothing picks or gets in the way of that. Ben's looking to go come around. Kind of an aggressive call. Obviously, Yellow doesn't have the hammer, so clogging up the center is great. If Ben makes this is Scott's first shot. Looks like the line's pretty good. It's starting to curl now. You're going to want to get Rebecca, Miss Alaska, to get on that and get that around. Eric's trying to carve that in like it's Thanksgiving. Not a bad shot. Not a bad shot. Now you should see James come down and try to either hit it out or sit on it. Looks like he's saying, let's sit on it. Because again, if you're Yellow, you can say, sure, I'll give you one red all day long, because that's objective check on their end. But big shot coming up. Not a bad throw. A little in to outside hand motion there. Looks like he's got plenty of steam. They're going to want to try to carve this over, I would imagine. Yeah, there they go. Very good. A small little bump. It actually puts that Red Rock a little bit better under cover, and it should allow Ben the opportunity to kind of hit and roll, preferably to Ben's left or to our right as we're looking at it. He's hitting the inside of his elbow, so he's indicating he'd really like a control weight shot. For those who don't know, control weight's typically 10.5 seconds between hog to hog, or probably like a 370, 380, I guess. Split time if you're American. He's changing the call. He's coming at it now the out turn, which is a bit better of a plan. Scott's walking the dog a little bit there. You can sort of see he's moving the rock left to right. Weight's not bad. Eric's trying to carve that over a little bit. They need to hit as much as they can so that Red Rock stays in the rings. Unfortunately, just a little bit too much pepper on that, so it did roll out. Gives James another opportunity to park one in there. And at this point, if you're James, you could consider, killing that yellow, getting that yellow out of the way, because right now that yellow is helping the red stone. This is Kyle Atkinson's first shot. Looks a little spicy. He's going to squeak out the back. He's so confident he's not even going to sweep. That's confident. So Ben here should look at splitting the house and guaranteeing his 2 points. He doesn't need to worry about the guard, but that's what he's deciding to do. And again, if he makes this perfectly and he's top 12 and he's sitting shot 1 and shot 2, then what the heck do I know? This is Eric's second shot, out turn. Not a bad delivery. And again, Eric and Scott, they're pals. They start at the same time. So again, it's really nice to kind of go through curling boot camp with a pal and then actually start playing in these, fairly competitive but safe Bonspiel together. And that one is going to just bite on the back. Talk about a nibbler. Again, we talked about this in a few different episodes, but if you were from Alberta, you call those a flob, a FLOB, which is a friggin' lousy outside biter, and they really kind of add up. They add up. If you're not watching them, that's you can quickly give up 5 in an end because of those. Okay. Nice shot. Looks like Ben's asking Eric here to repay the favor. Scott's trying to carve that in as much as he possibly can. Should change the angle of his brush head to be a little bit more effective, but that one sails to the back. It's in a little bit better position than it was. So this would be a good time if Ben ever has the opportunity to get rid of those yellows. Looks like James is going to be protecting that yellow with his life, which is okay. Which is okay. Looks like we have some updates while we're waiting for this shot to be delivered on sheet A. Sweeping declarations from Nashville. They're leading 2-0 against A. DeHosers, local team. We have Colorado from Denver up 2-0 against the AZ Scorps. And then we have Team D from the Potomac, DC region up 3-0. So the hammer percentages are all but 100% on every sheet except for the sheet we're watching. So it's good to see everybody taking 2 or 3 points when they have the hammer. It's great. That's as it should be. So that guard comes a little deep in the house. Is going to allow Ben the opportunity to maybe. You could hit the double if you hit this a little bit on the high side meaning it's on the right side of center. Looks like they're going to want to curl this a little bit. Now go for line. They should get Erica because it's going to hit. Boop. And it's going to stick around. Very good. Very good. And a lot of new curlers, Scott could have been sweeping that on the inside to get that red rock to roll a little bit more into the 12-foot. A lot of newer curlers, a lot of them are just sort of amazed of the shots made, and they're like, "Wow, what's going to happen?" And it's very easy to get sort of starstruck with the shot. So, and again, it's just these little nuance things that really sort of separate, a good curling team from a great curling team. Yeah, this looks to be another guard. In fact, I just want something just touching the center line. They want this to go a little bit deep. They don't want it to go deep. It'll give Ben the opportunity to do the double. So this is going to give Ben an opportunity now to maybe throw the in turn, which is a clockwise spinning rock, to hit those ones on the left. I think hitting that one on the left to expose the shot rock is a better idea than going from this right one, even though Ben potentially knows the line a bit better, but it's that left rock that's causing him the harm. So Ben is now asking for a normal. When they tap their shoulder like that, he's asking Rebecca to throw a high hard one. Normal weight's probably 9 seconds, hog to hog, so maybe like a 3.5, 3.6. Woof. Okay. Well, there's no shortage of heat. Yeah, well, Rebecca knows it. Yeah, and that's sort of that's the tricky part with any curler, let alone a U5 curler. Coming out with that sort of that heat, that speed out of the hack, it's sometimes hard to harness your delivery, and it's easy to kind of go offline because you're going so fast. But good attempt. And again, if maybe throwing the in turn, clockwise spinning rock at that group of yellows might have been a little bit easier for Miss Rebecca. Well, James here saying, well, you're kind of leaving us off the hook here a little bit, so let's see if we can put another one. Let's loop it around. It looks like they don't necessarily need to hit any of the reds yet because the reds are sort of non-issue at this point. I think at this level, just loop one around. James is a pretty good curler. He took a minute off from curling with us to deal with some things, and he's glad to see him back. Good to see him playing in this event. It's going to be an in-turn draw. Looks like it's a little snug. Yeah, and since we haven't thrown any rocks out there, the pebble is going to be really good. So the curl is going to be a little bit more than you would normally have. And unfortunately, I just over curled a little bit. It is making Ben's life, or Hall of Just Ice, making their life a little bit more difficult. So Ben would be well advised to try to hit any of those three yellows on the left side of center and try to get two of them out of his way. His three's on the table. If he can throw one or two good shots here, the red could walk away with three. But right now, the objective is, of course, is just dig a hole. Try to get how to get to that shot rock. Well, interesting shot selection here. Looks like Ben's going to do the out-turn draw. And if they can just paper that front guard that's on the right and get any part of the button, or sorry, the forefoot, this would be a great shot. But it's going to have to be kind of well managed. Scott in the house is going to have to call line pretty well, and then of course Rebecca and Eric are going to have to manage the sweeping on this. So, but this is why we pay the skips the big bucks. So, Ben, should be able to make it. Here we go. It's going close to that yellow guard. Just ticked and redirects. Yeah, Ben's unhappy with that. But it seemed like that maybe had just a little too much heat behind it. So even if Scott were to call the line call and not have it hit that yellow stone, it was probably going back 8, back 12 on its own anyway. So looks like James here is doing the out turn come around. And again, if James is a little short here and he leaves this as a guard, high guard, just somewhere on the 4 foot, 8 foot line, they're probably going to walk away with one yellow. And if you remember, what started this whole mess was that yellow guard. So had we dealt with that a while ago, I'll adjust ice wouldn't be trying to dig out so frantically. So I missed that call. It looks like they were doing an in off. Pretty gutsy call for a U5 team. Um, Again, I'll say it before. If you've heard me any time this weekend, Joe Polo, his best quote ever is "hit for show, draw for dough." So there's a time and a place to do both. So I think in this particular case, again, that Red Rock was doing nothing against the Collier rink. So just drawing in would have been fine, or even taking a little bit more ice or a little bit more weight and throwing that shot that James threw the first time to go around that left side would have been okay. But this is going to give Ben now an opportunity to called the Redemption Rock. Again, all he needs is just any bit of the 4 foot to take his one. Looks like it's a bit better of speed. Yeah, you're going to want to get Eric on. Looks like it's going to over curl. I think Ben just had a bit of a dump on that. He kind of slid out on target, but then as he released it, he gave it sort of a, like he's. Well, one yellow. So again, if you were a Hall of Just Ice, you're the Red Rock, you wanted to try to get 2 points there. And if you're Collier, you're trying to hold them to just 1 point or steal. And in this case, Yellow Rock stole, so that's advantage yellow on that end. They played really, really well. And, unfortunately, Hall of Just Ice had maybe just a few more misses that didn't quite help their cause. So yellow now is going to start us off again. We should probably see either in the house or a center line guard. Because again, if you don't have the hammer, you want to sort of block the 4 foot path, so you can't just draw in there. Okay, so putting the rock in the house is a good first plan. You'll typically see your steal percentage goes way up by doing that, knowing red needs to throw a corner guard. Looks like Ben is trying to do a center line guard, which is potentially going to work against him. Actually, he wants to do a freeze. So he wants to get that red rock just locked on, glued onto that yellow rock. This one's going to sail by just a little bit and end up being in the back 8, back 12. Not a bad shot, but again, a guard. You need at least one guard, so one rock not in the house for you to be able to score multiple points. So putting it in the back of the house isn't ideal. And it looks like James here, the Yellowstones, they're going to be throwing a clockwise spin and try to get this rock right on that center line and try to be a blocker, if you will, or a guard on that Yellowstone in the house. Because again, if you're yellow, you're trying to steal a point, and if you're red, you're trying to get 2 points. So Ben is sort of, the Redstones is sort of starting contrary to what all the curling books would tell you. So it's a great shot, nice guard shot, makes it tough to red to go get it. We should see Ben kind of come in and try it to freeze again on that rock. Yep, good call. This is going to be a clockwise spinning rock. Looks like he's tightening up the ice just a little bit. So it looks like Scott's second shot's not bad. Looks like Rebecca from Alaska. She's trying to carve that in, make it kind of curl in, like bend it like Beckham. And is it? We don't want it to bounce. Oh, it just misses and squeaks out the back of the house. That's an unfortunate miss. That's going to leave the Yellowstones the opportunity to throw up a guard. Now they're if they can have something right along that yellow rock that you see that's not in the house, that's right of the center line. They can have that left of center. Even if they come around and put one in the house, that's not a bad shot, but it's advantage yellow right now. Kyle shots away. Looks like it has enough energy to kind of get into the house and maybe freeze up against their the 1 point they already have. That would be a little aggressive. Great shot. Yeah, great job by Kyle. Ben has to, so he's sort of pot committed now. He should be trying to get rid of that. In curling, you can't remove the guard, the rock's not in the house until the 5th rock is thrown. So right now that blocker or that guard rock that's right of center is causing Ben, the Red Rock team, a whole lot of trouble. So even if they by mistake get rid of that yellow rock, this one looks like it's going to miss the whole pot. Yeah, there we go. We call that the Nike shot because all you hear is a swoosh as it goes by. This is going to give now, James another opportunity to kind of wash, rinse, repeat. Try to just to throw up a guard because right now, yellow, if the game were to end, yellow has 2 points, red has 0. And in an alternate universe, Ben would love to have 2 reds in the house. So he'd be counting the 2. But yeah, it's really about which team is going to make their shots, This one's a little deep, meaning it's got a little bit too much energy. If it hits and rolls, this is going to be a good opportunity. So now if you're red, you're going to want to try to hit and roll in, hit that yellow that was just thrown and roll into the right, or Ben's left as we're looking at the overhead view. So it's not a lot of ice. This one's going to miss too. So Rebecca from Alaska is trying to carve this over, trying to bend it over as much as she can to get any piece of the yellow. And that's kind of a net 0. Didn't hurt, didn't help. But again, that's at this level, you need to have a rock in play. So it would have been nice just to throw a draw shot, get that red rock nestled in that pocket of yellows for later use. But unfortunately, this is going to give yellow yet another opportunity to either put up a guard or very selfishly uh, I say that lovingly, but put another counter in the forefoot and really make put the pressure. This one seems a bit out, so they're going to want to sweep this one. You're going to want to sweep this one. Yep, there you go. Finally, they heard the guy in the booth. Got her over the hog line, which is good. You know, in curling, if you don't get your rock over the hog line, you have to buy the first round of drink. So you can quickly see who's there for the curling and who's there for the drinking. So that's a great guard. Ben now is hitting his shoulder, which indicates a normal weight shot. He's giving to Miss Alaska. He wants them. He wants to drive that yellow, have Rebecca's red shot, hit that yellow, and drive that yellow back into the pile, and hopefully displace a couple counters. Not a bad shot. Scott's going to try to carve it over a little bit. Pretty good sweeping. One. Well, they got rid of it, which is good. Again, when Ben looks at this recording later today, if not tomorrow, Ben, get rid of the guard earlier. But let's just, for now, keep that amongst us. James, like, okay, I see what you're doing. You're trying to dig your way into the center of the house. I'm going to throw an out turn, which it's a counterclockwise spinning rock, and I'm going to put up another guard because I don't want you to get in there, Red. Well, that's sort of the first miss I think we've seen the first big miss we've seen from the Collier rink this go round. This is going to give Rebecca an opportunity to do a out turn draw, and you can even do board weight. But at this point, you want a red rock to stick around. That's out there. That needs to curl a whole bunch. She kind of whistled that out there with a bit of a Spanish ole. Well, at least you got rid of one. That's good. That's good. But I think in this particular case, less power and just kind of get rocks in play would be a little bit better. You don't remember in curling, you don't have to get them all out. You know, the opponent's stone. You just have to be closer than the other guy. So sometimes a little bit of touch is better. Well, while we wait for this shot to come on down and for them to post the score, we saw what happened. Let's go around the horn. Looks like sweeping declarations out of Nashville's up 6-0. Looks like they stole in the second and took another 3 in the third against Ada Hosers. Colorado against AZ Scorps. They too grabbed another 4, so they are up 6-0 on sheet B. And then Team D from Potomac, DC, they are again 6-0 against Under Onesies. So a lot of big scores. Yeah, a lot of big scores. It could be sleeping arrangements. Maybe the hotel bed's too soft. Maybe a couple cocktails too many last night. But yeah, usually Saturday midday is a good separating of the field for a variety of reasons. And it looks like Ben here is going back. There we go, 4-0, 4-0. Yeah, so Ben would be, if anybody locally can slip him a note, we need a guard, Ben. Yeah, we need a guard. Yeah, this is gonna again. If you're James, you'd be like, "Hey, we've played this game exactly for the last 3 ends, in guard and then guard, 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 guard." Yeah, this one looks a little fast though. Well, looks like the shooter's thinking, well, we call this in the curling world kind of walking the dog because there's nothing you can do. You can't sweep to make it pass. You can't. It looks like it's just the right amount. Is it going to just enter the house? It is going to slide in. If it does slide in, because it's in the house, you can hit that. Again, we would want to probably throw a guard while you still can. Well, you got to appreciate Ben's just stick-to-itiveness. Yeah, he's, again, calling a control weight shot, wants to double out or at least hit one of those yellows, and be important to have this rock stick around. Because being down 4-0 going into the fourth, or being in the fourth end, you'd want to get at least 2 here, or else the game is going to be a little bit out of reach. Just overcurled a little bit, manages to get the rock out of play. But again, you've got nothing really sort of set up to get any offense going here. So Kyle shots away. Looks like a good delivery. And the sweepers are thinking it's close. They're not doing anything. Looks like they just need to slow down a little bit with that little hand action there. Just a little deep, but that's a great shot, though. Freezing a rock. Typically, unless you're on the Grand Slam tour, that would take 2 shots to get rid of. Sorry, if you're not on the tour, it's going to take 2 shots. Looks like Ben's asking to hit the top one and get one of those yellows out of the house. This one's maybe a bit of an air ball, getting Rebecca to curl that. Try as much of that yellow as they possibly can. They do. Unfortunately, the red does not stick around, which again is gives yellow the opportunity to throw up another guard. Yeah, typically, curling can be kind of a I don't say a boring game, but if you've ever watched the Queen Gambit movie about the chess player, there's a opening set of moves that sort of tells you what the opposing skip is trying to do as far as strategy and what the other skip is trying to do as far as defense. And until something changes for red, yellow is just very happy to kind of keep doing this. It's obviously been working for them. They're up 4-0. Ben is again insisting on the hit. And again, if he hits and gets the double, great. But he has to keep that red rock around, or else. And even if he does make the double and leave the red rock sitting there, James is just going to hit the yellow out. So again, there's not doing a lot to generate any offense if you're red right now. Great shot. Something fun to kind of write home about. Unfortunately, it doesn't get that yellow rock out of the house. So that means the force is on. Yeah, James is electing to hit the red. This is Operation Evict Red out of the house. Nice delivery. Yeah, I believe Kevin Dicker there, who just threw, has recently joined us from the great town, city of Milwaukee. Nice to have him here in the club. So and this is the type of weight shot that Kevin just threw that Ben should be thinking about. See they were able to get the red rock out. They kept the yellow rock in play. So Ben, of course, is going to try to hit. And again, the right call here would be to try to freeze onto that yellow or go behind it. Maybe back 8 and try to use that as a kind of an in-house guard. But well, Rebecca gave that one a bit of a crank, like she's opened up a jar of pickles. Probably not going to have time to curl. No. Yeah, line was good, but I think that was maybe just a little bit too much spin. If you give too much spin on a rock, it doesn't have time to curl. James is like, okay, let's throw the out turn, and again, they're happy with something top 12 or something probably not behind the tee line, because then that's going to give red the opportunity to freeze to it. So Kevin's second shot, nice delivery. Yeah, and what they're doing here is called splitting the house. And of course, the theory here is it's you want to make it as difficult on red to get out all of these yellows. Skippers come out to lean on the brush to see if you can get just a nibble. No. Ben Wise is saying, let's draw behind cover. Yeah, and this is always a bit of a challenging shot. Rebecca just threw a 8-second hit, and now she's been asked to throw a 14.5-second draw. Sometimes it's hard to kind of recalibrate those in 30 seconds. Good attempt. Good attempt. It's not shot rock. So, yeah, James is going to just try to throw maybe a board weight. Board weight typically is 12 seconds between hog to hog. He's not calling a lot of ice, so maybe he's going to throw control, which is about 10-5 hog to hog. And he's just happy to hit that red. And it looks like Kevin's indicating a board weight the way he's got his sciatic acting up. But that may not be enough ice for the board weight hit. We haven't seen any rocks come down the center here. My money's on this one's going to, if he throws it right, it's going to probably catch his guard out front. Whoop, that's not helpful. It happens, though. Yeah, that's okay. It happens. The shot brought to you by Nike. Whoosh. Opportunity now for Ben to throw the outturn tap. He's going to want to try to either get around the rock he just threw, or that's an option too. The hit and roll is an option. I guess if he does, if he connects this and then rolls around and sticks around back 8 foot in the white circle, then he doesn't have to worry about promoting his red rock. Yeah, it's sometimes a lonely jog if you're the skip and you're looking at the scoreboard. You're thinking, "Oh boy, the ice looks close." If he overthrows it, though, it's going to kind of hit on the outside of that yellow and roll out of play. So he's going to want to throw this, somewhere between 10.5 second hog to hog and 12 second, because it's imperative that this red connects with that yellow and sticks around. They should probably curl it a little bit, get Eric on it, because it needs to hit as much as possible to stick around. Looks like a good shot. Well done. Yeah, well done. You'd want a bit, a bit more of a roll under cover, but this does give James opportunity to kind of hit and stick or hit and roll, which is going to force Ben to do something great on his last one. But as far as this end's going, that's way to go, Ben. You're sitting 2. I think this is the first time this game that Red has been sitting in the counting position. So this is we would take it. Yeah, James isn't calling for a lot of ice here, so I suspect this is going to be an upweight shot. Probably control-ish, if not control up. Nice shot. High fives all the way around. This is going to allow now Ben to draw in for his deuce, which is pretty important. This would be a kind of a big emotional swing for Team Red right now if he can just land it anywhere in the 8 foot, sort of the 8 foot of the 4 foot circle. For newer curlers who are throwing this shot, you never want to just say in the paint, because that's not very specific, and you can find yourself either throwing it 2 feet too light or 2 feet too much. So you should always give yourself a target. So even though we know it just has to be in the 8 foot circle, tell your sweepers and tell yourself, okay, we're going T line, we're going whatever our DSC or our draw shot challenge weight is. That's what we want, because then you're going to be at least give yourself a 4 foot buffer on either side. So you want to be specific. Big shot coming up for Ben. Be able to cut the deficit in half here with this one. It's okay. Eric is on it. They got to go because it's over curling because Ben dumped it in again. So they're going to hit that red. They got to get it around. Maybe touch the red that's there and roll it in. Well, that is unfortunate. So that's maybe a missed brush call on Scott in the house. Had he had Rebecca on the outside kind of carve it over and just hit any piece of that red rock, it would have absorbed some of that energy, and we might have stuck around the back 8, back 12 to score 2. So that's just experience. But if you're red, you'll take the 1 and you'll say, thank you very much. The unfortunate thing is with the 1 point, you give the hammer to the yellow team that's sitting, they're up 3 right now. So if you're yellow and you score your deuce, it'll be 6-1. So the game's getting a little bit out of reach. It looks like we have shakes on sheet A. They must have scored a big end. We'll have to see what's happening on A, but the looks like sweeping declarations from Nashville were up 6-0. Now they're going to do the DSC. So they might have stole one or two, I would imagine. So congratulations, Nashville. Okay, centerline guard. In this particular case, that's the right strategy for red because you want to control the forefoot. You see James here calling for the corner guard, which again is great. That's exactly what you want to do. That's exactly what you want to do. This one must have picked, and that's because the again, I can't stress it enough. The if you're the inside sweeper, your broom should be down all the time. You know, you've got little pieces of rubber that comes off your gripper. You got hair that falls out. You've got fleece, you know, or material off your shirts that fall off and can get in front of the rock. And I remember reading a book from 1963 about it was written by a nun at a Catholic school talking about sweeping, and it was typed, you know, in a I don't know, 4 font, you know, really hard to read, but and it was written just like Sister Teresa would be saying it, and she very clearly said, you know, it's not the position of the sweepers to bemoan, quote unquote, the fate of a rock. The sweepers have one job, and that is to make sure the rock does not pick and also get it to its destination. And so she was very clear that if it picks, the sweeper should never look up and just in amazement go, "Oh, I don't know what happened. It must have caught something." Because Sister Teresa, from I'm sure wherever she is, would hit you in the forehead with a piece of chalk. So, word to the wise: brooms down, brooms down. And if anybody's ever played with me, they know that's one of my biggest pet peeves. You're certainly not going to prevent 100% of pick rock, but you will drastically reduce it also by 90%. Okay. If you're red, what do you want to do? You want to probably start either coming around or promoting some red in the house, don't you? You are down 3. Yellow's got the hammer. Yellow missed one of their shots. So you're going to want to try to take advantage of this. You want to capitalize on it. And it does look like on sheet A, the Nashville team stole 4, making that final 10-0. So, but I want to make sure you've got check see if you got your wallets and your car keys on sheet A. The way the Nashville guys are pickpocketing everything over there. This needs to go. You're gonna want to maybe do plan B on this one, and it doesn't look like it doesn't have enough gas to get there. But centerline guard is fine. But again, if you're Ben, if you're red, you want to think about how can I promote these red stones? How can I get them closer to the button? Ben is saying, let's get these all out of here. And you can see he can do that because there is 5 rocks in play. You see the one yellow at in the back chute. So he's saying, I need a 6-second cannon here, Kyle. Nice throw. Nice throw. I think you're going to want to get your inside sweeping Kevin there to kind of hold that for line. Not a bad shot. Maybe a little bit more weight would have been required. It does roll both red rocks in as counters and also puts them behind cover. So if you are Ben, you are really trying to hide your Cheshire grin. All right, Eric's first shot away. Looks like we also have it's all over on sheet B. Colorado scored another, making that final 10-0. So that's two ends in the same draw that are ending at 10-0. Man, oh man, the Vegas bookies must be going bonkers right now. If you were playing the spread on those two sheets, I'm not sure. And it looks like on sheet D, we've got Team D. They're at 9-0 right now. What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on? Could we have three sheets and at 10-0? Wow. We'll keep you apprised as to what's going on there. Back to our sheet here. Kyle's asked to I think promote that rock, but I think it's probably just a little too heavy. So if you're red, you've got the two counters. Yeah, and if you're Ben here on the outturn with the red, you may want to give yourself a little bit more ice because a straight draw through that port, a port's that's the term we use for that distance between sort of the red rock on the center line and the red rock on the right. That's a port. Trying to go through that. Looks like this is light. They're gonna have to go pretty hard. Probably want to get Eric now involved. Let's go, Eric. Let's go, Eric. Let's go, Eric. Nope. So unfortunately, again, I think that's a sweep call. We needed both sweepers on there because we knew it was light and we knew it was going to over curl. And unfortunately, it did raise yellow into the rings for shot rock, and it's behind cover. So now you see James's dilemma. He's like, "What do I do?" He should really be trying to draw maybe the out turn and come around. And this is a good play too. He's saying, you know what, I need access to the 4 foot, so I'm going to hit and roll this rock. Even if he stays there, that's fine. It's something that he can promote. But he's trying to give himself access, so he has a draw, an in turn clockwise draw to the 4 foot. They're going to want to curl this pretty hard because it doesn't look heavy. You don't want to just bump this back 2 feet and help red again. And 6 feet of fury from the skipper does the job. Does the job. But again, I think had they got on the sweeper, on the outside sweeper, to curl that a little bit and hit that more on the nose, you would have obviously punched that right off the back versus sort of a glancing blow kind of a thing. So Ben's asking for the outturn draw from Rebecca, but again, we probably would want to go the other way here and do the in turn and come around. If this does promote something, then again, what the hell do I know? But yeah, 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 really kind of a nothing burger shot, right? Nothing. It does make it a wide open path. You see, you could drive a Tesla through that that port right now. So yeah, James is like, okay, well, let's draw in here and see if we can get two. Because again, if you don't have the hammer, you're trying to get two, and James is like, okay, if you're going to open up that door for me, I'll walk through it. I'm not scared. So back of the tee line. So that gives a red kind of an out. Of course, they're going to want to try to hide maybe somewhere in the 4 foot. But even if they park on the back, it's going to negate those two potential counter yellow stones at the top of the 12. But you got a pretty good landing zone if you're Ben right now. So this is the first of Ben's 2 stones. Well, Ben's going to want to get that one back, no doubt. That's a little thing we call adrenaline. When you're like, oh boy, okay, it's 4-1. They're sitting 2 counters. All I got to do is draw in, and you gas it. It happens. So actually, James is in a pretty good position here. He's sitting shot 1 and shot 2. So it's his objective of getting 2 with the hammers in the bag. Even if he comes up short here and just leaves a guard and makes it tough for Ben to come back in, that's okay. He doesn't have to get his 3rd point just yet. Oh, he's indicating either he just found the Holy Spirit or he thinks this one's fast. In fact, it's perfect. And he's like, okay. Yeah. Fist bumps, high five. So they're sitting 3 points. Ben has to, and he just threw this. He needs to kind of calm down a little bit and just put a red rock right in front of the one James just threw and take away all of those red points. Again, if he throws a little too exuberant and bounces off, could be a mittful for Team Yellow. On sheet D, as I promised I was going to keep you apprised, it looks like Team DEI is sitting 1. This is the under onesies last shot. They need to hit this to get their deuce. It is exposed. If not, then the Team D is going to be stealing a point to make it, yes, believe it, 10-0. My goodness. All right, shots away. Looks a little light. Oh, yeah, carve it on over now. You have to get any piece of that yellow. Unfortunately, just a bit hot. James is quick to say we're going to stay firm on our eviction notice of red rocks out of the house, and this could be for 4 if James can convert. Last shot away for yellow, the under onesies on sheet D. Looks like this is hanging out there. The stormtroopers are sweeping feverishly. Unfortunately, it does not get the red out. It is going to be a steal of 1. for red, and it's 10-0, which means they should be, well, mathematically they're done. So they should be shaking hands. And there they have it. Shaking hands. So another sheet, 10-0. Craziness. And on our sheet, James and gang took another 4. So it's 8-1. These are some big ends. Big ends. Yeah, does nobody like to play any defense around here? Look at that 10. Boom, boom, boom. Craziness. And then here we got 8-1. And again, it's going to be imperative here that red scores at least 2. If not, with nobody else on the sheet, this probably will be the last end. And here they're saying, let's just throw it through because we don't want to give red any opportunity. Some people think this is a bit of a chintzy move, but it's actually a very good defensive move where you don't want to give red any opportunity to hide behind something, freeze to something. But again, I've played against some people that think I'm trying to be a jerk, but in fact, I'm not. But well, in fact, there it is. He threw 1 through, and he said, "Let's shake." So, congratulations. Call yourself a curler. The whole rink. They're going to go up 3-0 in their pool. So again, and I need to correct something from last night's telecast. The winner of this event is going to get a berth to the under 5 national championship. I indicated that there's going to be a men and a women's team sent from this event, but in fact, it's just one. So the overall winner, because we do have mixed teams, are going to go. So I stand corrected. There you have it. So the next draw for those who are playing along at home is going to be at 3 p.m. You have time now to grab yourself a sandwich and do a little bit of your housekeeping, but we'll see you back at 3 at Coyote Curling for all of the action. The 2025 Superhero Under 5 Bonspiel. Daryl Horseman coming to you live from Tempe, Arizona. We'll talk to you. Good curling.